Welcome to Onward Lebanon. This is Isaac Seavers, Superintendent of Lebanon City Schools. We're back this month in February for a follow-up to last month's episode of Onward Lebanon, where we talked about the Players Box. Last month, I was joined by Coach Justine and Kaylin King of Lebanon High School, and we talked about the program of Lebanon Box, why we brought it to our students. This month, I wanted to spend some time talking to three of our high school athletes who have gone through the experience to get their perspective on what it meant to them, how they've seen it implemented in the programs and in their lives going forward. I just want to remind everybody that this is an experience that was brought to us by Girdwood Orthodontics. I really thank Bart and his wife and the team there at Girdwood for sponsoring this experience for our students. It's been an opportunity for us to look at the mental health and the competitive preparation of student athletes. We spent a lot of time preparing students for competition and physically, right? Getting ready to prepare for the games physically. The long hours that we put into that. And one of the focus that we've had this year is how can we prepare kids mentally and emotionally for competition. And so that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. I'm excited to be joined today by three students from Lebanon High School, Nick Lauder, Kylie Lamb, and Allie Kearns. Welcome, everybody.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome. We're just going to sit and chat, okay? Just have an experience here to talk about what's going on at Lebanon High School. So we'll start with Nick. Nick, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What year you are at Lebanon High School, what sports you play. Give us a little background on Nick Lauder.
Yeah, my name is Nick Lauder. I'm a junior at Lebanon High School. I play football and I wrestle.
Okay.
And I'm on the Ohio 7-on-7 team.
The Ohio 7-on-7 team, it's been exciting to see that happening a little bit recently. You got a big weekend this weekend in wrestling.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about that real quick.
Yeah, so last weekend we had our sectional tournament. We hosted that at Lebanon. I won it, beating a kid I lost to 2 weeks ago. So now this weekend we roll into districts, top 4 moves on to state.
It was awesome. It was a great experience to be able to watch you guys compete last weekend. There was a little bit of emotion out of you at the end of the match. You don't always see that from you, but there was a little bit of a flex towards the table there at the end. Was that exciting?
Yeah, it was very exciting.
That was awesome. It was exciting to see, and good luck this weekend. Kylie, tell us a little about your experience here at Lebanon High School. What do you participate in, and what's going on for you right now?
Okay, so I'm Kylie. I'm a sophomore here at Lebanon, and I play girls varsity basketball and girls varsity lacrosse.
Lacrosse season is happening.
Yeah.
Outside in the cold.
Yeah, had tryouts this week. So.
Tryouts this week. Tell me a little bit about the difference between lacrosse and basketball for you. I mean, do you work on one of them more out throughout the year, or what's the difference between the two sports for you in that way?
For me, I feel like I put more time in for basketball because I put more pressure on myself to do better. And lacrosse, I feel like is very stress-free and just a great program.
It's a great atmosphere.
Yeah.
We talked a little about that as we were getting ready today, and just the difference in experience. And I'm hoping it's a great season for you also. Yeah. Allie, what about you?
I'm Allie Kearns, and I'm a sophomore, and I play varsity soccer and varsity basketball at Lebanon.
So you're into club soccer season now?
Yes.
So who do you play with, and what's that look like for you in the spring?
I play for Mercury GO8 North, and for the spring, it's like mostly showcases and practicing throughout the week and preparing for like our summer season with big tournaments and showcases.
Awesome. So Captain's Council was something that you guys all belong to or participate in. Can you just tell me a little bit about, maybe not all of you, but maybe some of you, what's Captain's Council like from the experiences that you've had with that so far? Specific to just what's the purpose and what are the conversations that you're having? Anybody want to jump in there?
Yeah, so Captain's Council, it's basically just the captains of each sport in Lebanon. We just are able to get together, talk about ways we can improve each program, the school, and even the younger elementary schools, and just to get better.
Okay.
And with that, there's like 3 subgroups that we have. Those are youth, community, and school spirit, and I'm on community. So we just kind of reach out to everybody around us and just see who's going to be willing to help Lebanon athletics succeed.
Yeah. And it also like is more than just like a leadership thing. Like you also like learn more about yourself and others, and like you apply it to yourself, knowing your mindset, how you grow, how you like do well under pressure. And it just like, it's how you apply it to the game and like practices to grow as a person and an athlete.
Awesome. So one of the things Mr. King and I were talking about this year as we saw the Players Box introduced to us was just trying to find something set curriculum-wise that we can implement with this group. I mean, we think that investing in leaders is really important way for us to impact all of our programs, to have some consistency, like what do we want Lebanon athletics to be about and to be like, and how can we have some consistency across those sports? And so when we saw the players box, Kaylin was like, I think that is what we've been looking for, to have some continuity and some conversation. So I want to jump into some questions here about players box, and we'll start with you, Allie. I promise you guys I go different ways around the table here. So the first question is yours. What do you say in terms of the players box program was the most important thing you took away from that experience?
The most important thing like I've taken away is knowing my personality type and knowing others' personality types so I can communicate, because not everyone like needs to be communicated in the same way, and like other people respond to different things in different ways. So I like learn how to like communicate with them and like how it benefits them for the future and not just, yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a question about your personality type real quick. Of the 4 animal characteristics, we talked about those in the last session, but which of the 4 animals were you in personality? And did you have an experience of like going through it, like an aha moment of like, oh, that makes a lot more sense now?
Yeah. I'm an otter, which is like the enthusiastic and like very like joyful kind of like personality type. And like they tend to like speed up under pressure, which like I definitely do. And I like definitely like had an aha moment during like basketball or soccer where I like definitely like sped up and like I moved faster than like I thought. I watched all of your guys' games this year because I was there, right? And I think when you say that out loud, that's something that I wouldn't think of as a personality type, right? But it's definitely something I saw in you on the court. Always diving on the floor, always getting after it, probably getting beat up by other kids more so than you want sometimes. But like, so I think that intensity and things definitely shows through there. Kylie, what about you? What was your takeaway from Players Box?
Along with the personality types, I really like the hype level. I feel like it not only helped me like compose myself and know where I needed to be to perform at my best, but like also just to help the team. Like if we were too high, we knew we had to get it down. And like a great example was the Kings game. We went into overtime and you could just tell Kings was like really, really high on the hype level and we were way low, and that's what helped us win.
Yeah, so staying composed and those understanding. So your hype score, do you like in talking about that, the hype level, like are you somebody that needs to be pretty high and hyped in order to compete, or do you need to stay chill?
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I need to stay chill so that way I don't work too fast and like work myself up.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. What about you, Nick?
Yeah, so my personality type out of the 4 is a lion. You know, with the lion comes leadership, and I put pressure on myself to be the best leader. And, you know, I think however I perform, others think, you know, differently of me. And so I've been able to work on self-talk and just telling myself that, you know, I'm good, you know, I can do this, and it doesn't matter what other people think. You know, at the end of the day, my family still loves me, God still loves me, and my friends still love me, so. Yeah,
I think about, like, we were talking about this earlier, and I think we have these pictures of what a lion would look like in our head, right? Like somebody that wanted to be out in front, that wanted to be the leader of the pack. And one of the things I think that I really appreciate about you and watching you is that's not necessarily your personality type of that we see publicly of wanting to be out in front, right? That it's all about bringing attention to yourself or whatever. But the intensity level you talked about there and that self-talk, I think that's one of the things I think is really powerful about this program is you took something away from it, right? Something that you learned about yourself. And I told your mom and dad this story recently. Conversation you and I had, just you seemed really chill, right? Yeah. Like you were coming into a wrestling match, you seemed really chill, and just the conversation with you was like you were ready to go, but it wasn't at 100 in terms of energy. Like you were locked in, and I think that's I won't share all that story on this conversation. It was a great conversation with your mom that day about it, but I think it was an example for me to see how you could be confident, knowing you wanted to be in the moment, but also trying to calm yourself down a little bit then. So the next question, and we'll start with Kylie, okay, was there anything you learned about yourself in the program that helped you better understand your actions or belief about yourself differently?
Just going back to the personality type, like I internalized pressure, which I didn't realize, and I just thought I was like crazy. And like, I'm the type of person where like, I would want Allie to be in front of me. I go second because I'm scared. And I feel like it really helped me just learn that the things I do are because of who I am and not like, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. Do you think, I mean, thinking back on your athletic experiences, you know, all of you have probably at some point in time, you can think about coaches that wanted something different out of you than what you gave, right? Or like, I need you to be the leader, you know, type of thing. Is there anything that you thought like, oh, that's the reason I didn't want to step up in that situation and be out in front? Or is it just kind of everything made sense then, right? Is there an example you can point to? Or maybe dad telling you something when you got home that he wanted you to do, but now you're like, Dad, it's just my personality, right?
Yeah. His big thing was like, you need to shoot more, you need to be more aggressive. And like, I don't know, for my personality type, I was a golden retriever. And so my biggest fear is disappointing people. And so I don't feel like I step up in case of disappointment. Like I just put fear in front of me instead of confidence.
Yeah. And I think just thinking about you two as teammates, right, knowing that about her, right, you can be, I think the beauty of this could be when we begin to know each other better is that Kylie's shooting percentage was really good this year, right? We need Kylie shooting the ball more often. So Kylie needs to know that it's not a disappointment, right? If she doesn't make a shot, right? How we build each other up. And my hope is that as a girls basketball program, like you guys went through this with girls basketball and captain's council. My hope is with girls basketball, we begin to see each other individually like that and the team chemistry improves. How about you, Nick? Something that you saw differently about your actions or beliefs as a result of this program?
Yeah, so I took away the hype number. I'm a football player, I wrestle, and I learned that I'm totally opposite in both sports. You know, football, I like to get real hype. You know, my hype number is probably close to an 8 or 9 for football and wrestling. Like you had said, I'm more of a calm type of guy. You know, it's probably down to a 2. So I was able to, you know, balance that out, figure out what I need to do pre-match or pre-game to perform my best.
Awesome. What about you?
Like going back to like personality types, like for me, like I externalized my pressure. Like I would like sometimes crack jokes about like my mistakes and like kind of like let it out. So like I feel like released from my pressure when I let it out. So then like that helps me. But then also I learned that like about also with my hype number, keeping it I'm like a nice, cool, calm, collected person when it comes to that. And that's when I like perform at my peak. And then also doing my like routines and mindset with self-talk and knowing how I need to talk to myself before games to get me down to my hype level so I can like still perform well if it's too high or too low.
Yeah, I think sometimes you talked about the release of like talking about it or almost like self-deprecating humor a little bit, right? Like, you know, we've had that conversations at my house. You know, Eliza went through this program as well and talking about like, what's the release for her, right? In terms of like, I can make fun of myself, but I don't want you guys to make fun of me, right? Like that's how I deal with this pressure is to sort of say it, but I need other people to know that like, that's me releasing something and not, how I want you guys to treat me, Dad, right? Like, so I think understanding and advocating for yourself, right? Like knowing what you need. I remember coaching football when I was a head football coach just north of here, and I was not a yeller or a screamer. Like I was not a guy that was going to yell and scream at kids. And I remember one of these, a dad came in and said, like, Kenny just needs you to yell at him and get into his face. Like that's what he needs. And part of the conversation, I remember that was like, you got to do what you need to do. You can't count on somebody else outside of you to motivate you, right? Like, so I think one of the things I've heard all of you say is I've learned this about myself and now my self-talk, my mental preparation, all those things are you preparing yourself. And I think that's a really good benefit of what we see here. So this is really just maybe as you look at yourself and your teammates differently, it could be your family, it could be your teammates. Was there a moment, and we'll start with you, Nick, was there something that you learned through the program that helped you see a teammate and their actions or a family member and their actions differently? And you're like, oh, that's why he's that way, or my brother's that way or whatever, right? Like anything like that stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, with these personality types, I've learned that, my teammates, some of them respond better to being led, some respond better to, doing their own thing, and just the tone of how you can help coach them up and lead them. It's a big thing that I've picked up on and put into my role as a senior this year.
Yeah, awesome. How about you?
Along with the personality types, there's this thing called big U, little u, and it definitely shows. Like, I can tell, like, some of the basketball girls are big U and they just perform really well and they believe in themselves, or others, like myself, are little u and we just kind of keep to ourselves and we like to be led. That's kind of how I see it.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't gone through the program, and so I was reading through the bullet points of things, and I was curious what a big U, little u was in that. So I appreciate you bringing that up in terms of the ones that are wanting to be out front and leading, the other ones. And I think part of what I've had conversations with the athletic directors or coaches along the years has been one of the things we need to do a better job of in leadership and coaching and teaching, whatever it is helping people understand their role, right? Like having real conversations with people about roles on teams. Just a brief story for me is, coming out of junior high in Indiana where I was at, was highly recruited and thought of as a basketball player, but I was a 6'3", 8th grade basketball player, right? Like I didn't grow after that. I didn't change physically after 8th grade. And it took me a while to realize that what I thought was my trajectory coming out of junior high, by the time I was a junior or a sophomore or a junior, was going to look different. And I had to understand a role. I understand where my skills fit in with the team. And I think looking at this type of experience that you had is being intentional about helping navigate kids through that instead of them learning it on their own. It is beneficial to us as a program and understanding everybody's got a role, and those roles are all really important to the team. If you're a great teammate who does all the little things well and doesn't need recognition, then every team needs that guy or girl, right? Those are all the things that we need as we build a program that's solid and can continue. Ali, what about you? Anything that you took away for a teammate or a family member?
Yeah, I could definitely see in my teammates where some of them are super confident and believe in themselves and really put themselves out there to really communicate with their teammates. And I can also see others, sometimes it's me where I also keep quiet and don't really speak up in times. But I also see the contrast of others who do and really get in there. And
yeah. Did any of you go home after these sessions and be like, Mom, I think you're a golden retriever, right? Did you find yourself analyzing your parents, and realizing that's why my mom is the way that she is? Kylie, you're laughing. Did you do that?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it to myself, she would say stuff, and I was like, I know exactly what type you are.
You haven't told her that, though, yet?
No, because she wouldn't understand it.
Okay, well, maybe we should put parents through this, too. So the last question here is really, can you think of a specific example, and it's all okay if you can't, but can you think of a specific example where something that you learned through the players box was beneficial in the moment, right? Like you talked about the Kings overtime game, Kylie, where they hit a 3 at the buzzer to send us to overtime. And Coach Chastain shared the same example, right? We came into the huddle and everybody was like, we need to calm down, right? And brought the level down. And I think that was something that he points to as that was a moment of with our girls basketball program. But I hate if I stole your answer again there, but you already mentioned it. So is there something where something you can point to as a specific example? Does anybody have one?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this past weekend, we had our sectional tournament. I was gearing up to wrestle for the first place match against a kid I lost to 2 weeks ago. So I was pretty nervous, but, I took away, just calming myself down. I was able to get away from all the chaos in the arena and go up to the wrestling room where it was more quiet and just get time to myself to get myself more prepared for this finals match.
Awesome.
Yeah, this past fall season with soccer, I took on a new role as a center back. So it took to me to really bring out my voice and like confidence to speak to my teammates. So like in like close games and like soccer, like it is pretty close, like one goal, like
makes a big difference.
Yeah. And like as a center back, you see everything and like you have to communicate with your teammates, and like I knew how in like those situations. And sometimes it can get very quiet on the soccer field, so it's like up to like me to like really speak out and like communicate with each different personality types to get them going and keep going and like fight if we're down, or like continue to keep it up if we're up or anything like that.
It's awesome. Great. Anything from you?
Yeah, so in a different game, in a West Claremont game, this is the only team our seniors hadn't beat in the last 4 years, and they were undefeated. So we kind of went into it, you know, like, we're the underdogs, like this might not go our way. But then fourth quarter hits and we're like neck and neck. And I remember shooting a free throw with like 3 seconds left and just being on the free throw line and saying, I love this moment. And that was a big thing. It changed my attitude. And I think like everyone on the court felt it. And like as soon as we hit those free throws, it was like a whole different world for us.
Yeah, those were big free throws, right? And both of you guys had experiences this year on the girls basketball team where you had big free throws in the last 5 seconds of the game or something that won games for us. I remember talking to your dad afterwards, Allie, and he was like, no, she loves these moments. I don't know if you do or not, right? But Dad thought you did, right? But she loves these moments where I'm gonna come through in this moment. And I think that's huge. I'm just really proud of you guys. I think you're great leaders in your programs. I'm excited to see what the next year looks like in terms of development for all of you as athletes and as leaders. I want to encourage you to continue to lead. Find your voice, whatever that may be, whether it's the guy out or the girl out in front, or the one that comes alongside, or even the ones that lead from behind. And know what the role is. So I want to thank again one more time here, Dr. Girdwood at Girdwood Orthodontics for sponsoring this program. I want to thank the folks at the Players Box for spending time with our student athletes. We had the same people that came in consistently, built rapport with kids, and we're able to dig in a little bit with them and have meaningful conversations. So thanks to the folks from the Players Box. And thanks to you for listening today. I hope you take something out of this and look forward to continuing this program with our student athletes in the future. Have a great day, guys.